Tracy here. Today I thought I would share with you my March's flip through in my Fauxbonichi. But before I do that, I just want to share how I keep this book closed. It's getting pretty bulky, so I just used one of these hair ties. I think there were 2 for 50 cents, and or not hair ties, but hair bands. And I was thinking of decorating it up, maybe putting a flower or something on there, but I don't know. I'm fine with it just being plain for now. So this is the reason why I keep it closed. It's not as bulky as others, but it does have a little bit of bulk to it. And this is 3 months completed. And then I just added the washi on April's, but I haven't decorated it yet because I was going to do a little tutorial because people have been asking me my spacing and stuff like that. But when my daughter had saw this, she's like, "Mom, I don't think you can fit any more in there." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I can. You should see some of these ladies." Their books are so bulky that, yeah, mine has nothing on theirs. So let's start with the beginning. And you've seen a few little sneak peeks of this in my last video. So here is March. My goals, we'll start with my goals, and my number 1 goal is to do at least 10,000 steps a day. And as you can see, I did really well. I lost my little stamp here. This was supposed to be the stamp for my 10,000 steps. Let me get a closer look. It was one of those, I think it was Heidi Swap. It's got the little polka dots in there, but I took it off my block and I don't know where it went to. So either my cat ate it or it is gone. I think, I have no idea. I like totally searched all week for it and I can't find it. So I went with this one here. I'm not as happy because it has totally written in it, but I totally did my 10,000 steps. So I guess that's appropriate. Now this is how I usually store them. Like this is my one for drinking my pop. And then this side here, this is the stamp for my 10,000 steps. And I just keep them on this one acrylic block instead of taking them out of the package all the time. So here's the overview for the whole month of March. And my first goal, we'll start with the goals. My first goal is to do my 10,000 steps a day, which you're probably tired of hearing. But as you can see, I did really good this month. This is the best month I've done. And as you can also see, Sundays must be my rest days because almost all of the Sundays do not have one. And the only reason this one had one is my stepmother phoned me and we talked for quite a while. So I think we talked for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And that's how I get a lot of my steps in. I talk while I'm on the phone. A lot of you had said, "I don't know how you can get that many steps in." Well, if I'm on the phone, I just walk around the house. I go downstairs, walk downstairs. I just keep pacing, and that's how I get a lot of my steps in, especially for the winter, because I don't do a lot of walking outside. I don't do any walking outside, actually. Most of my walking is done inside, on the treadmill, or when I'm on the phone. So here it is, all my 10,000 steps, and look, on the 26th, I gave myself 2 hearts because I got over 20,000 steps. And that's because a friend of mine phoned me and we talked for over 3 hours on the phone. So that's how I got so many steps that day. This day here was the Walking Dead marathon. And I gave myself permission not to do the steps. Plus, I was not really feeling well at all. But I ended up walking anyway, so that was good. And then the second one is my 1 can of Coke per week. And this weekend I didn't have any, but I sure made up for it. The next weekend I had one, the next weekend I had one, and then this last weekend on Saturday I had 2, and then on Sunday I had 1. I was really not feeling well this whole week and weekend, so I guess I just got frustrated and thought, like, to hell with it, I'm having another pop. So I think that's what my little, I don't know, comfort was. And another one of my goals was the rest of the goals, bad. I don't think I accomplished any of them. One was to read one book per month. I am so close to finishing it. I was going to speed read it just to write it down, but I didn't. I have a few chapters left. I wanted to make 1 smash book page and 1 layout. I never did either one of those. I wanted to do a 12-hour crop, and there were no crops in March. I had my friends over, but no 12-hour crop. And then I wanted to organize an area in my home, and honestly, I don't even know if I did that. But this month has not been good for me. I've been not feeling my best this month, so that's my excuse. A few of you have asked me to share more about my days in my Fauxbonichi, more of the content as opposed to my art blocks or my stamps. And I'll try and do that today. But if you really want to know more about my everyday, then just go to my blog. I post more about that stuff there. Not always, but a little bit more there. So I'll try and do that today. Another thing I wanted to share with you was I was so far behind on art journaling blocks. Like I said, I wasn't feeling my best this month, and my crafting suffered. I could totally tell. I haven't done as much crafting this month. So what I did was, Felicia on our Fauxbonichi Facebook site, she posted a letter every day, and then you would write, stamp, draw something about that letter. And I wasn't going to do that because mine is more about the writing, but I thought, you know what? My art blocks are empty, so that's what I did. I went back. This is near the end of the month, and I went back and I did the whole alphabet in one day, at one evening more or less. So that's what I did here. That's why there's A and B, and then you'll see the rest of the alphabet throughout the whole book. And these are both stamps. And another thing I did was Sunday we didn't do too much. As you can see, my steps are like only 6,000, but we didn't do too much besides watching The Walking Dead, of course. So I used one of Paula's journal prompts, and it said about our favorite season. And I just wrote that I'm lucky enough to live somewhere where we have all 4 seasons, and I do love the beginning of all the 4 seasons. Even winter. Winter is just long here and I get a little tired of it, but I do love all the seasons. And then here, Wayne just took my husband, he just took the day off work. And then this is also a stamp here. And then on Tuesday, my daughter, my oldest daughter, was showing me some faux calligraphy she was doing, and I got so excited because I do calligraphy. So if any of my girls are interested in anything I have done or anything I do, I get really excited about it. So when she told me that, I brought over my nibs and I brought over my pens and my inks, and I let her play around with those. And then I also went on the treadmill and watched Orphan Black. My middle daughter, Heather, she's got me onto that show. It's a really good show. And then Wednesday, I had a dentist checkup, which sadly I had a cavity. I'm like, seriously? I'm like in my middle to late 40s and I'm still getting cavities? Like, I am not impressed with that. And I take really good care of my teeth. So yeah, I have to go back for that. And then I was supposed to go out with a friend, but she had a really bad cold, so we had to cancel. And then Survivor Night was Wednesday, and I love that because my middle daughter, Heather, watches that with us. That's another thing. If our girls still want to watch movies or TV shows with me, I'm like, yes! So these both are stamps. And then, what is it? E, these are both stamps, again, with the alphabet. The egg stamp and the fox is a stamp. And then this day, Christy was looking through my Filofax, or not my Filofax, I don't even have a Filofax, why would I say that? Christy was looking through my Fauxbonichi and realized, like, she was looking through February's, and she was so disappointed that I was so behind. And the thing was, I was so excited, like, she's said, can I look through your Fauxbonichi? I'm like, yes, of course you can. I'm all excited that she has some interest. And then she goes and calls me a slacker because I was so far behind. So then my mission was to finish the days that I had slacked on. And then the 6th, my daughter Heather, I don't think she had to go to work that day. She was off, and she started playing. Well, she already had finished this video game 3 times, but she was playing on the harder levels. She was playing on the hardest level, and I'm like, can I watch this game with you? And it was so good. It's called The Last of Us, which is like a zombie apocalyptic kind of a video game, and it was so good. The graphics were so real. I was just so impressed with it that I started watching and following the story, and then I wouldn't let her play. She wasn't allowed to play at all that month unless I could watch her. So that was one of my highlights. See, my life is very boring. I enjoy watching video games. And then these are both stickers. G and H are both stickers. And on the 7th, I again watched Heather play the video games during the day because it was a weekend. She didn't have to work, and watched my husband play for a while. And then my husband and I watched The Running Man, the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That one is really good. Love that those types of movies. And then the 8th, I planned the whole week and the weekend so I could stay at home Sunday and not leave the house. I was just going to veg all day. Well, that didn't happen. I ended up running around and driving my daughter to work, and then told my daughter, well, since I'll be over that other side of town, we'll go return your thing. And yeah, I was out most of the day running around. And then, of course, the highlight of my Sundays is The Walking Dead. And then Monday, for I actually drew that, the ice cream cone. And then J, this is a stamp. This jar is a stamp. And then on the 9th, my husband had a doctor's appointment, so he took the whole day off. And I went between watching my husband play video games to my daughter playing the game that I would only allow her to play when I was there. So that was a pretty laid-back day. And then Tuesday was my 15-minute day. It just felt like I needed to go through the house, and I spent 15 minutes in each room, just tidying up and putting things in their proper places. And so that was a 15-minute day. And then my daughter came over, my oldest daughter, and we were discussing some of her wedding plans. And then this is one of my favorite pages because I love these girls. They are so adorable. And I just want to share with you how when I stamped it, I didn't have anything hard underneath, and because of the washi tape being there, there's a little lumps. So when I stamped it, it didn't stamp. It actually kind of stamped twice. Even though this is a hand-drawn image, like it's not straight line, you can still tell, especially with her, it kind of like did a double image. But you know what? One thing I love about the Fauxbonichi, for me, is it's a place where things don't have to be perfect. I give myself permission for things not to be perfect. So I'm okay with that. It's not on a card. If it was on a card, I'd have to restamp it. But on here, I'm okay with that. And then here, these are both stamps. And I want to share with you, I had told you before that I use this here as a blotter. I'll stick it in between my pages because we all know if you use Copics or any kind of alcohol markers, they seep through. Even though I have two pages adhered together, they still seep through. Like right here, as you can see, I never use the blotter, and it seeped through on that page. But what I did notice is when I'm coloring, it will pick up these colors that are on the blotter. And the reason I think they do that is because the blotter it has a sheen to it. So I'm going to have to make a new blotter with more porous paper so it'll absorb the marker instead of being on top of the shine, or the shiny part of the paper. So where are we here? On the 11th, I just wrote about this girl because they remind me of summer and reminds me of our camp or our cottage. And so I just wrote how I'm looking forward to summer and the warmer weather and going to camp and going kayaking around the lake and reading a book on the deck. And yeah, we are so lucky to have a place to go to like that. So on the 12th, my daughter Heather, she completed for the 4th time that video game, The Last of Us. And honestly, that is such an excellent video game. The story is great. The graphics are awesome. Like, you can see every strand of hair. I was just blown away by that game, and it was very entertaining. So she had finished that. And then this is also the day I tried my hand at those pocket letters. I'm sure you've heard of them. Everybody heard of them before. I wasn't in a swap or anything. I just wanted to make a few of them for my friends, and I'll share those on a different video. And then for Friday, one of the prompts for our Fauxbonichi group was to draw your day in like a film strip or a photo strip. So this is what I did. And like I said, as you can see, I didn't have the blotter back there. But anyway, here, this is just cut out of a film strip, the black part. And then inside I drew my breakfast, which is just usually cereal or oatmeal. And then I drove my daughter to work. So that's supposed to be my view from inside of our Jeep. And then my treadmill. I was on the treadmill that day. And then in the evening, this FNS, that stands for Friday Night Scrapbooking. I have my girlfriends over at my house every Friday night and we scrapbook. So that was my day. I don't have to explain it. It's kind of right there. And then on the 14th, I don't think too much happened that day, so I drew this little, yeah, right, I wish I drew this little girl. This is a stamp, a Pure Innocent stamp. She has a little camera, and I just wrote about how my whole family loves to take photos, and how my oldest daughter is actually a photographer. She sold some of her prints, and how my husband has a big boy camera, and he gave me his old one, and I'm just too intimidated to actually use it. And then look at this day. Look at my steps. Ooh, I got over 14,000 steps that day. And then I wrote my weight. I didn't write it in as many times this month, but... And we actually got hail, rain, and snow all in one day. Only here will you get that. And then on the 15th, can you guess, was The Walking Dead. We watched The Walking Dead. And I was also out with my daughter all day. We were looking for supplies, as she wants me to make her centerpiece for her wedding, or for all the tables of the weddings. So we went around looking supplies for that, and then we went out for lunch. And then in the evening was my favorite time, The Walking Dead. And those are just stickers that I had got, and I had a whole bunch left over from some sticker sheet I had. And then somebody had asked me also what I put down here. I've explained it before, but I just write down here something that I am thankful or grateful for, something that made me happy, or something that made me smile that day. So that's what I usually write down here. And then this is another Pure Innocent stamp. And I think I did bookwork. Yeah, I organized all our paperwork that day. My husband took the day off. We went around and did some running around, and then I came home and did some paperwork. And that's why I have her with writing a note, because I was doing paperwork and I thought that was appropriate. And then here, this and that one. Where's this one? This is one of my favorite pages, and this is one of my favorite pages. And these are Unity stamps here. I forget the name of these stamps here, and I don't have them in front of me, but these are Unity stamps, these two. And I know they're supposed to be for friends, but to me, they're sisters. So these are my 3 daughters, and I colored their hair. My oldest has red hair, and my middle daughter has brown hair, and my oldest has black hair. So I colored them up to be that. And then over here, it has their friends also, and I have them as my sister and I. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister, so that's why I drew her. I thought they went together. And then here, this is a stamp for M, and the eggs are a stamp, but I drew the nest. So the 17th, my girls just spent the evening together. That's why I stamped that there, and I just wrote how I am so thankful that my girls love to spend time with each other. Whenever they're together, it just makes me so happy. And then the 18th, I went with Ashley for her dress fitting. She had another dress fitting, and she was really happy with the changes that the seamstress made. And then March 19th, I'm gonna have to, I actually have little cheaters, so I don't have to read everything. So the 19th, I went shopping with Heather and Christy, because it's Christy's birthday later on in the next week. And so Christy was showing us some stuff that she wanted, and then we went out for lunch. It's always nice to go out for lunch. Our cat ate 2 hair ties the day before. Well, actually 1. Christy got the other one out of her mouth, but Luna ate one of them, and I'm like, oh great, I'm going to have to take her to the vet. Well, as it turned out, Heather went downstairs and found some fur ball upchuck, I guess you want to call it, and there was the hair tie in there. So thankfully we didn't have to take her to the vet. And I was telling you about the bleed through from the Copics, from the blotter, and there's some bleed through right there. I don't know if you can notice, but there's different colors there. This is a sticker, and this here, this is a stamp. And I was going to stamp something inside the Polaroid, but I totally forgot to do that. And then the 20th, my friend Lynn and I, we were supposed to go to, well, we did go to Michael's, and then our other friend Denise met us there, and the tellers didn't want to give my friends their % off on their full purchase, which was supposed to be, and I was ready to fight it, but they let me. Mine was fine, but theirs wasn't, so my one friend just put all her stuff back. She was frustrated. I don't understand why they wouldn't have let her do that. It was Friday night, so it's Friday night scrapbooking, and then my youngest daughter was dyeing my oldest daughter's hair at our house, and they were all watching a show together on their laptop But because the two that were doing and getting the hair done were facing one way, and then my other daughter, Heather, was facing another way, what they did was they set up both their laptops to the show and synced them so they were going at the exact same time so they could all watch it in the same room. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was funny anyway. Things my daughters do. So on the 21st, well, these are stickers. And I know it's supposed to look like a quilt. And I was going to do another layer on top to make it look more like a quilt, but it would have taken away from the queue. And this one is a stamp, and I just colored it in with my Copics. And on the 21st, this is when I started feeling really not fun. It was not a fun day. And this day, the 22nd, I went in my work shed and I actually cut the wood for the centerpieces for Ashley's wedding table. I just did one. I just wanted to do a prototype so she can see it, because I didn't want to make like 20 of them and then her tell me she didn't really like them. Mind you, I don't think she would ever do that, but I wanted to make sure she liked the first one. And I had trouble turning on my power out there. I don't know why. It was a chilly day, but I don't understand why the power wouldn't turn on, and I was getting so frustrated, and my husband finally came out, pushed the exact same buttons and did exactly the same thing that I did, but it seemed to work for him. So I was happy it worked, but I don't understand why it didn't work for me. And then this is just a sticker, and this is just a sticker. S for sky, and then T for trees. And then this day, my husband took off work, and I completed one of the centerpieces. And my daughter really liked it, so I can go ahead whenever I want and start with the other ones. And then Ashley and Heather made Christy's birthday cake, because on the 24th was Christy's birthday. So what I like to do, and I usually can only do it for Christy because Heather likes to keep her bedroom door open for the cat, but I like to put streamers, because she keeps her bedroom door closed, so I put streamers on the outside of her door, so when she wakes up in the morning, she opens the door and walks through all these streamers. So wish her a happy birthday. And then she also the birthday girl picks their dinner, or if it's my husband, I guess the birthday boy picks their dinner, and she wanted to go to the keg that day. So that's what we did that day. And the 25th, this is a stamp, and then these vines, I just drew the vines, but this is a stamp. Then on the 25th, this is going to be a majorly long video. I don't know about this. On the 25th, Heather and I went shopping. She was searching for this certain hairbrush, and I was searching for an old dictionary. And I'll share that project on a different day. Nothing really happened on this Thursday besides I talked to my friend, and I did the 20,000 steps, over 20,000 steps that day. But besides that, there was another prompt, and it was about dream vacation. And I just wrote that I really don't think I have a dream vacation, but I would like to go to the East Coast. We've gone all the way to BC and the island on a road trip as a family vacation. I would like to go all the way to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, of course on a road trip, because I love road trips. And another one I wouldn't mind going to is Scotland. I'd love to go to Scotland. I wouldn't mind going to Disney World, but that I'd like to go as a family vacation. And our girls are getting a little too old for that, I think. Is it any surprise that my word for W is The Walking Dead? This is just something I got off the internet, and I printed it up on just regular copy paper, not photocopy paper, just regular copy paper. Paula from our Fauxbonichi Facebook group, her prompt, every Sunday she has a prompt, and this one was the perfect day. And my perfect day depends on the season. So for the winter, in the winter months, in the cold months, my perfect day would be just staying at home, watching video games or movies with my family, and crafting on the couch or in my craft room. Whereas in the summer, my perfect day would be at our cottage or our camp and kayaking around the lake, doing my walks down the pipeline trails, or just sitting and reading, or even crafting at camp. That would be my perfect day for those days. But honestly, any day spent with my family is perfect in my eyes. I know that might be sappy, but honestly, that's true. And then for this day, the X is an Xbox, and I drew that. It's not the best, but hey, it's an Xbox. And I covered up this day because something happened in the family, and it's not my story to tell, so I'm not going to say anything about that day. And then I think that was about it. Actually, another not good day for me. My husband ended up going and driving my daughter to work and picking up groceries. That is supposed to be a yo-yo. I actually drew that. I just used the inside of a washi tape holder and did a circle and then moved it a bit and did another circle. So that's my yo-yo. And then on this day, could you have guessed it would have been a zombie? So this is just a sticker and I cut that up. So on the 29th, yeah, I still couldn't really leave the house. I wasn't feeling my best and I couldn't leave the house, so it was a stay-at-home day. I was supposed to go, I was kind of upset because I was supposed to go, I think it was this day, I was supposed to go with my friend was having a party, like was having a get-together kind of thing, and I couldn't go because I really couldn't leave the house, but I was sad. I feel bad. I always feel bad if I can't make something. No matter how sick I am, I try to go. Not that I'm sick, but no matter how bad I'm feeling, I try to go and do things, but this day was not a good day. And it wasn't a good day for that, but it was a good day because it was a Walking Dead marathon. Yes. And then it was a bad day because it was the end of the season. Sad day. I even stayed up late and watched it again. But looking forward to the spin-off they're having. And it's supposed to come out in the summer. And then the 30th, Wayne came home early because he had to get some stuff done. So he came home early. And it was another stay-at-home day for me. And then the 31st, even though I still wasn't feeling up to par, I made myself go out. And it was my friend's birthday celebration. Whenever it's one of our birthdays, we go out for dinner and a movie. So that's what we did that day. We went out for a dinner and a movie with my friends, or a few of my friends anyway. I just printed it out on photocopy paper. And that is it. That is my full month. So that'll be like a 3-hour video, won't it? And then this here, this is blank. I'm going to either stamp an image on there, or I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll leave that one blank because the next day, this is April's, and I will show you that in another video. That is my full flip through for March. I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you're still with me, I don't even know. You might have turned it off a long time ago. So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you all had a very creative day today. Bye now.